Luke 11:14 through 23. Now he was casting out a demon that was mute. When the demon had gone out, the mute man spoke, and the people marveled. But some of them said, he casts out demons by Beelzebul, the prince of demons. While others, to test him, kept seeking from him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said to them, every kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and a divided household falls. And if Satan also is divided against himself, how will his kingdom stand? For you say that I cast out demons by Beelzebul. And if I cast out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore they will be your judges. But if it is by the finger of God that I cast out demons, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When a strong man, fully armed, guards his own palace, his goods are safe. But when one stronger than he attacks him and overcomes him, he takes away his armor in which he trusted and divides his spoil. Whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. I want to just give you the purpose of the sermon at the very beginning so you can track with me. And the purpose of the sermon is that no one with divided loyalties will persevere. We talk about the perseverance of the saints, which means that we endure unto salvation, and that nothing can take us out of the grasp of Christ. And no one with divided loyalties will persevere. No person, no church, no kingdom. There's a statement in 1 John 5:19, we know that we are from God, and the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. That is an astounding statement. It should shape and mold our worldview, that we know we are from God, we are in his hands, we are secure, and the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. Verse 14 of our text, now he was casting out a demon that was mute. When the demon had gone out, the mute man spoke, and the people marveled. Why was this man possessed by a demon that was mute? Because Satan's desire is to have all that God has created. He wants to be the king of creation. This is why I've asked us to change our attitude toward the world, because anyone outside of Christ is broken and in bondage. The whole world, meaning the system of the world, the people who are outside of Christ, lie in the power of the evil one. He has power over them, and we need the power of God to deliver them from the kingdom of Satan. 2 Corinthians 4:4, in their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. Anyone outside of Christ is no different than this man who is possessed and could not speak. It's only that his level of oppression was greater. When Jesus delivers this demoniac, he sets him free to be the individual that God created to be in the first place. He puts on him the stamp of the image of God once again. He's no longer Satan's prisoner. And everywhere in our culture now, we see people under the possession of Satan. I think it was a little more discreet, but now it's become more obvious and more evident. And the church has to understand and grasp this worldview, that anyone outside of Christ is under the power of Satan and needs deliverance. Young women in America, for example, at a rate of 1 out of 3, want to end their life now. We have the highest suicide rate in the history of our country. Why do they want to do that? Because they can't fit into the mold of the culture. And our heart should ache for them. And we should also prepare for the day when God turns them back to the church for answers. And I believe that's going to happen. Verse 14 says, they marveled. Marveling isn't faith. It's very different. Marveling only leads to the demand for greater demonstrations of who Jesus is. We know that it didn't lead to faith because it says in verses 15 and 16, but some of them said he casts out demons by Beelzebul, the prince of demons, while others, to test him, kept seeking from him a sign from heaven. So there's no record of anybody coming to faith through this, except maybe the person who was demon possessed. Notice the enemies of Jesus here do not deny that he cast out the demons. Others asked for another sign. Everyone claims that if they were there, they would believe in Jesus. And we think so highly of ourselves. If I had been there, I never would have called for Jesus' death. Regardless of the danger, I would have done the right thing. We always think so highly of ourselves. But this is a very important part of the gospel, is that we are called to think of ourselves with sober judgment, not to look in retrospect and say, I would have done different in there. I would have believed in Jesus. I wouldn't have demanded for another sign. Jesus came to rescue us from our moral selves, from our self-righteousness. Even the third temptation says, and he took him to Jerusalem and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down here. So every request for another sign